The subject of betrayal is undoubtedly one of the favorite themes used by developers in video games. And in the case of our favorite series of games, it is especially visible. While everyone knows that betrayal isn't something positive, still, many people often use it to gain some benefit. Of course, such people realize that they do not act morally at all. But, in the end, the goal that can be achieved by exposing a person blinds their minds. In short, they are capable of taking the biggest risk and even doing a lot of harm to achieve their target. At one point, the boss of one of the Liberty City Mafia, Salvatore Leone, faced a certain dilemma related to betrayal. At a certain stage of the plot, the man had a thug under control, which was protected by the so-called plot armor due to playing a key role in the storyline, of course. Anyway, even though every job was done by Claude perfectly, Don Leone still found few reasons to get rid of Claude. And today, we will present these reasons based on the storyline from GTA San Andreas, GTA Liberty City Stories, and GTA 3. Welcome to the Gaming Investigators channel, and enjoy today's episode! One of the decisive stimuli that led to Salvatore's final betrayal of Claude is the mounting paranoia that took charge of Don's head for many years. It all started with the events in Las Venturas in 1992, or, at least from what we know, who knows if it didn't start before. In short, looking at the time of the action, this is the first time in which we meet Salvatore, and at the same time, it is the moment where we can deduce something for the first time. Getting to the bottom, after long persuasions from the Sindacos, Salvatore decides to invest a lot of money in Caligula's casino to reap massive profits outside of Liberty City with two other families. If you are interested in what the family arrangement in Las Venturas was about, we recommend watching our video, which you can find in the description of this one. But, returning strictly to the topic, it all seemed to go according to Sal's plan. The man wrapped the casino manager around his finger, thanks to which he had a kind of informant in the Sin City and could react to any actions taken by the Forellis and the Sindacos on an ongoing basis. Unfortunately, Salvatore apparently did not foresee that the other families would also want to gain some advantage in a not-so-fair way. Moreover, Johnny Sindaco's fatal mistake contributed to the beginning of another problem. That's because, besides the conflict between all families and the struggle for influence in the casino, the triads also appeared on the horizon, which at one point were simply enraged and wanted to turn Salvatore's dreams into dust. Some events that accidentally happened to CJ were also extremely important. Two huge coincidences, that is an acquaintance with Joey Leone and meeting Kent Paul and Macker, made CJ immediately gain Salvatore's trust, which, as a result, gave him the opportunity to safely infiltrate the casino and explore the area for the future heist. Of course, Salvatore didn't suspect anything from our black friend. After all, CJ kicked the Sindacos out of Las Venturas and got rid of the Don of the Forellis. These actions effectively allowed Salvatore to take over Caligula's casino entirely for himself. Not only that, CJ's activities helped Salvatore in Liberty City. This was because the Forellis, who had recovered from the unfortunate events of 1986, lost their Don again. As a consequence of this, the Forelli Mafia once again had to bow to the majesty of another crime family. Unfortunately, Don Salvatore miscalculated a lot. Well, soon there was a planned heist on Caligula's casino. Salvatore learned his lesson for trusting a person who, colloquially speaking, wasn't even checked by him at all in terms of his past. Moving on, it's Liberty City, 1998. 6 years have passed since Caligula's casino heist destroyed Salvatore's plans for a huge fortune. Salvatore Leone managed to take advantage of Marco Forelli's death and kick the Forellis out of Portland, remaining only in tough competition with the Sindacos. However, soon all hell begins to break loose. The Triads and the Diablos joined the action and took part of the territory from the Leones. And so, the growing problems start Salvatore's serious and unjustified paranoia that we witness in the Driving Mr. Leone mission. Salvatore thinks that loyal Tony Cipriani may be a spy like CJ. Fortunately, however, the man will come to his senses and, together with Cipriani, continue the fight for Liberty City, which in the end turns out good for them. And so, we come to GTA 3 in 2001, when Salvatore Leone meets Claude, a guy who performs the tasks entrusted to him extremely professionally and effectively. Don Leone concludes that it would be a sin not to take advantage of Claude's efficiency. As a consequence, the man asks him to blow up the less cargo ship with the rich deposits of the spank drug on board as a favor in exchange for becoming an official member of the mafia. However, this is where Salvatore's paranoia manifests itself once again. The man still remembers that fatal defeat when he was mocked by a spy from the Triads in 1992. That's why, among other things, he decides to get rid of Claude as soon as possible, guided by the principle, betray before they betray you. But it should be emphasized that Salvatore had pretty much no solid evidence that Claude was planning to turn against him. Nevertheless, another reason for Salvatore's betrayal was certainly to avoid conflict with the Colombian cartel. There were many reasons that the Leon Mafia did not want to get involved in open conflict with the Colombian cartel for fear of having trouble maintaining influence in Liberty City. So, it is rational to use a person who is not officially a mafia member and is merely an errand boy. Consequently, the usage of such a person should not raise any suspicions. It is worth mentioning that Claude is not officially a member of the mafia due to his American roots. Usually, members who are not of Italian descent have to work for 10 to 20 years for the mafia to be able to approach the initiation. Probably some of you will say now that Salvatore does not have to follow the Mafia Code at all. After all, we've seen more than once in the GTA series how Mafia families broke some of those unwritten rules. And you are right, Salvatore could theoretically recruit anyone to the Leon Mafia, even an Asian or American. However, once the Colombian cartel problem is resolved, a few issues concerning Claude will pop up in his mind. Claude may become somehow dangerous to the Mafia's environment. His position as a member carries a considerable risk that he may suddenly turn against the family or even try to overthrow Salvatore himself. After all, Claude is a very good killer, and he would certainly like to climb high in the organization's hierarchy. It is known that his main goal is to get Catalina, but if he does, who knows what his next goal will be. We partly know from the episode on which protagonist from the GTA series from the 3D universe is the richest that business was not Claude's thing. But Salvatore knew him so briefly that it was difficult for him to know anything more. Another issue is that Claude, seeing that he is doing well, could demand more and higher payments for subsequent orders under the principle that the appetite comes with eating, which would effectively reduce the Mafia's budget. Briefly, and to sum it up, if Salvatore decided to accept Claude to the Leons, there would be a chance that sooner or later he would cause problems, which Salvatore was simply afraid of. Anyway, as we know from the storyline, the alleged destruction of the Les cargo ship was to guarantee Claude's official initiation into the Leon family and a generous payment. However, Claude did not know that these words were spoken for a clear purpose. Salvatore's promise of the luxury was to be a mere bribe of Claude in exchange for taking responsibility for the deeds he soon committed. Furthermore, by setting this course of events, Salvatore was able to win the cartel's favor. What we mean here is that Salvatore, under the guise of friendly intentions, could help find the assassin who blew up the ship, thus selling Claude in exchange for positive relations between the two parties and for a guarantee that the Colombian cartel will not operate in Portland. Meanwhile, the last and, frankly, very trivial factor that somehow had influence on Salvatore's final decision regarding Claude was the man's alleged romance with Maria Latour. A senseless mistake on the part of Maria could have aroused huge anger in Salvatore's mind because, if we look at this from the side, you need to have really big cojones to get into an affair with Don's wife. Claude's confidence in such a situation could simply enrage Don Leon. On the other hand, Salvatore's reaction likely did not have to be somehow extraordinary, since Maria Latour played a very supporting role in his life. Ever since the woman was no longer young and attractive, we believe that Salvatore kept her with him mainly for the sake of maintaining a proper image in mafia circles. Not only that, it does not seem that Maria Latour cared about anything other than getting more money from Salvatore's wallet, which he was surely well aware of after living with Maria for a long time. Finally, we would like to briefly discuss how Salvatore's decision influenced the Leons. As you probably know, Salvatore didn't get away with trying to murder Claude. The revenge of the main character came quickly and was hellishly effective. As a result, the Leon crime family probably lost one of the most powerful dons to ever rule. The only question is whether this great loss was a cause for a long mourning for the Leons. As it turns out, Not really. While it was certainly very shocking for the Mafia, and especially for Joey Leone, after the mission Sayonara Salvatore, we can quickly see that the Leones even grew stronger after this event. As we know, this criminal organization has not disappeared from the streets of Liberty City at all, which means that a new Mafia Don has come to replace Salvatore. From that moment on, the Leone Mafia began to patrol the streets with shotguns, which shows that the weaponry of the average family members has been greatly improved. So, it can be concluded that the Leones had to get the proverbial smack on the ass to start developing again. It is possible that the arrival of the new Mafia Don was a breath of fresh air in a way. There were new investments, arrangements, and some new rules that allowed the Leones to operate successfully in Liberty City. Wrapping up today's video, it's hard to think that one past event and a few coincidences made Don Salvatore Leone decide to get rid of one of the family's best associates. Unfortunately, as it turns out, Salvatore's cunning and learning from past mistakes paradoxically led him to his downfall. He forgot that, sometimes in life, there are people who are simply worth trusting, or who should be eliminated only when there are solid arguments for doing so. Nevertheless, the Leone Mafia came out of it all unscathed, opening up to new opportunities and giving another person a chance to lead the Leone crime family to the top once again. Meanwhile, if you liked this episode, we recommend you watch a similar video about Sonny Forelli, whose bad decisions led to the Forellis' major blow. For now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye!